Hey y'all, we're gonna finish up this series of this modification trial with the paperwork, trial, everything from beginning to end. We went through everything here. So um, this is part 5, and this is the final video in this series here because we're gonna finish up the trial and so we'll just continue here. So this is for for entertainment, educational, and information purposes only. I'm not an attorney. I don't practice law. I'm not liable for anything that you do or how you interpret or use this information in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, let's go. So we're going to proceed where we left off from part 4.
Judge St. Angelo said, this is in July of 2017, is that Mr. Quintero's demeanor is angry and irrational. His Facebook persona is alarming and cannot be dismissed as fake. The fella sitting here today is a little smoother about what gets him in trouble, but it does not take much in reading his demeanor to see the same anger and sense of entitlement.
So this is what happens, to a lot of us when we're in there and they're taking our children, they're taking our money, they're doing all of these things, and we're here in front of a stranger, and the other side, the baby mama and their attorney, they're telling a whole bunch of lies, and we don't know what we're doing, and so we're emotional, you know. So, way back when the baby mama was telling a whole bunch of lies, doing whatever it was she could to deprive me of my daughter, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I was in court and I was emotional. And the commissioner back then, not a judge, she was a commissioner. Um, they only know what they see. They don't know anything about what's going on outside of the courtroom. They only know what they see, and they only saw that I was emotional, and obviously everything affected me, and so that's why he's bringing that up. And then he's trying to tie that into right now, you know. Whereas throughout this entire trial, I handled myself just fine.
He has, by conduct, demonstrated that he's earned unsupervised time. There's no doubt of that. And so we're not questioning or challenging that. But the schedule that we have now is working for Lou's, and it is beneficial. I hope there'll come a time where Mr. Quintero will let go of the anger, the contempt that he demonstrates towards my client. But I mean, again, even something as simple as the curbside exchange, which is a no-brainer, that he fights it, he hangs on to a description of an event which he acknowledges. It didn't happen. Judge Green wouldn't even take it up. There wasn't a police report. There was a 911 call. There's been no findings in any.
This is closing statements, and the attorney is talking. The attorney is just lying. Attorneys are allowed to lie. So, like, if we really want to start counting, like, he told like 4 lies in that statement right there. All they do is lie. All they do is lie. And they're allowed to lie because they're not under oath. Attorneys are allowed to lie. You know who else is allowed to lie? The police. You know who said it was okay? There was a Supreme Court ruling that says that police are allowed to lie. These state actors are allowed to lie in order to achieve the end result. There's a case ruling on this. So attorneys are allowed to lie, judges are allowed to lie, any state actor is allowed to lie.
Family court, even using his own standards of what it takes for something to count, that doesn't. And so he can't even let go of that for something like curbside exchange. So we are still, unfortunately, in a bad place in terms of these two. being anything other than the high conflict relationship that they are. And so we're going to ask that the restriction of no overnights be maintained, the schedule, that my client retains sole legal decision making. Your Honor, with that, I thank the court for the time that you've allowed us.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wintry.
So, this is what they wanted, right? They want to be able to drop off my daughter in front of my home. That's because the baby mama wants to spy on me. She's like spiteful and vindictive, and she just wants to get as close to my home as possible. That's what they want to do. And they don't want me to have any overnights, no overnights. They want me to just be able to see her once a week for 8 hours. That's it. These are terrible people. Terrible, terrible, terrible human beings. That's who they are. They don't care about the child's best interest. They don't. They never have. Not the judges, not attorneys, especially not my baby mama. They do not care about what's best for the child. They don't.
Mr. Quintero, I'm going to allow you to make a closing argument. Even though I put time limits, I think it would be appropriate to allow you to make a summation. So if you want to, go ahead.
All right. So I had already ran out of my time. I didn't write up a closing argument because I had ran out of my time, so I didn't anticipate it. And so I'm just freestyling here. And this is pretty much my last attempt at, just showing that I do want what's best for my daughter. I want what's best for her. I do. Even if it means swallowing my pride, swallowing my ego, taking a step back. Okay? So, this was all just on the fly.
Thank you. I don't want to fight with Kim. I wish we could just co-parent, move on. I wish we could never come here again, ever. I would love that. I do want what's best for Luce. We are currently in the last phase of the plan with no incremental increase, and these incremental increases have been working. As he said, it's working. Yes, it is. So we should continue on that path with incremental increases. I think I've earned enough of the court's trust with the bond being lifted, with now me having unsupervised parenting time. We're in the last phase, and there's relationships with my family that Luz should have. So I stated in my parenting plan 3 different options there. I haven't looked at theirs. I just haven't. They gave it to me last night, So I don't know. I honestly, they had 4 months to put it in, so I guess I'm allowed to object to that. But I'm okay with continuing on an incremental plan. If you believe that's best for Bruce, I'm all for it. If sole legal decision making with Ms. Hadley, I'm all for it. Order the therapies. That's for Luce. I'm the Samson and the 2 babies situation. I'm not going to cut a baby just to be fair. Take them if that's what's best. I want what's best for.
It had been a long time since I'd been in church. I grew up in the church, and and I knew that was a King Solomon thing, where someone presented a child and someone was saying it was like they were the mother, and the other person was saying they were the mother, and it's like, all right, let's settle this. Let's chop the baby in half, and you could both have the child. And then one of them said like, no, no, no. No, I don't want that to happen. They could take the baby. And then that's when he concluded, it's like, okay, since they were willing to like do what's best for the child and give up the child, then they're the mother, type of thing like that. So I had forgotten that it was King Solomon that did that, and I said Samson. You know, the court. A lot of their law comes originally from like biblical law. Because it's not so much because I believe in God or Christianity or anything like that. I'm atheist. Agree with me or not, it doesn't matter. There's absolutely no physical, tangible proof that God exists. There isn't. But because the law uses, comes from biblical origins. When people file things in court, they even say a prayer to the court, and things like that. So I was using their words, their way of how they do things, but not so much because I believe in it, because I don't. So, anyways, that's why I mentioned that. And then I got it wrong, but it was just for me to be sincere and say, like, hey, like, I want what's best. If she has to take her, so be it, but I'm not going to chop my daughter in half, whereas she would.
And if we can incrementally increase, I don't see why Luz can't have overnight. She has a bed she's never slept in. Well, she did once, four nights when I made the mistake that I made, and I got to read her a bedtime story, and she put on pajamas when she spent the night. So there's nothing wrong with her sleeping in her own bed once a week. Why not? That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Quintero. I knew what he was referring to with the two babies. So I'm going to take this under advisement because there were multiple exhibits admitted that I would like the chance to take some time to review and also have some quiet time to think about the big picture in this case and fashion something that is in the child's best interest and determine whether to stick with the current situation or change it. So I'm taking this under advisement effective today. I do have a general question to ask. I feel that the evidence that I received over the course of these 2 days did not even begin to persuade me that this child is in need of therapeutic services.
She's not a doctor. She is not a doctor. She's a judge. She is not a doctor. And the most important thing to get from from what she just said, other than the fact that she's not a doctor, is that she doesn't care about the child's best interest. She doesn't. So there's two factors there. She's not a doctor, and she doesn't care about the child's best interest. Because if for years a child needed therapy and the proper therapy wasn't done, and now she's alleging, oh, she doesn't need therapy, then you know that they all royally fucked up.
So I'm not sure where this request for therapy is coming from. I know that there was a recommendation and reflections, and apparently 3 years ago at the pediatrician. However, the evidence I'm receiving of Luz's current situation, I'm not hearing any concerns. So I'm going to allow Mr. Quintero to explain to me why he thinks Luz needs to be in therapy. It sounds like she's doing well in school. She looks like an adorable, happy 7.5-year-old girl.
Yeah, because she gets to spend more time with her father. She does better when I've been with her. She was doing bad when she doesn't see me. So just because someone does better doesn't mean that they're healed. It just means that you continue doing what you were doing. But she's not a doctor.
I haven't heard anything that she's struggling. So what are you referring to, Mr. Quintero?
Well,
I should have
Luz
made a better
doing
argument.
better in school, which is actually like in the dibbles, is parallel to me spending more time with her.
That's not answering my question. I'm asking, why do you think she needs therapy?
Oh, because, and this is, these aren't my words. These were actually Ms. Hadley's words because of the behaviors that Luz has in Ms. Hadley's home. If Ms. Hadley is going to say right now that Luz is fine and is not having any behaviors in her home, then that would be for Ms. Hadley to say. But in my home, all of the behaviors that Luz has exhibited from Ms. Hadley's words and from these therapy recommendations, I have never personally witnessed in my home. Luz is very well behaved. She doesn't throw tantrums. She doesn't get upset. She does really, really well. And she only gets upset when our time is over. But other than that, and that's for you to decide from there.
All right.
So you can ask Ms. Hadley if Luz is still having behavioral problems in her house.
We're in agreement.
No therapy needed.
No therapy is needed.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something, even though I didn't receive evidence of something going on currently that requires therapy. My main role is to fashion something that's in her best interest. So I'm not going to order therapy.
Thank you, Ron.
I'll let you know that now.
Okay, if you think that's what's best for Luz, I agree with you there.
Okay, all right. So thank you all for coming today. Any exhibits that was brought and marked but not offered or admitted will be returned to the party that brought it. And the matter is under advisement. Was there something else before we
It's
begin?
just logistics. We, on the 24th, we did the transition back to every other weekend.
Mhm.
And there was, my client missed the transition, and you didn't miss the,
Yeah.
so, and at the exchange, she thought the exchange was at 3:30 and not 3, so she actually ended up 15 minutes earlier than when she thought she was supposed to be there, but 15 minutes late with the new time. Mr. Quintero had a concern about that, and it was 15 minutes, and fortunately nobody called
20.
the police, so that worked out well. But the concern is, the order is every other weekend. We believe that Mr. Quintero gets this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's what I believe, but he said he was supposed to have last week.
So, yeah, hang on a second, because
It said,
Mr. Quintero did file 2 things on that subject this week. I've approved them for filing. I believe
Yeah.
I set it, or it is in the process of being set for hearing later this month. However, since you raised it, Mr. Wintry, I don't want to waste everybody's time and Miss Hadley's money to have her attorney come back to court if we can solve this today.
that's what we're hoping to
If
do.
there was a
It's so funny that she only considers her money, right? And her money, right? Because she's the one paying an attorney, right? So it's all about her money. Fuck. These judges are so biased.
mistake or a misunderstanding, I will accept that. And my suggestion would be, why don't we have a discussion of makeup time if Mr. Quintero missed some of his parenting time. What he filed, it sounds like he missed parenting time, and he was accusing Miss Hadley of intentionally violating the order. His motion didn't suggest he tried to reach her or find out where she was. He filed a police report online.
Oh.
So yeah, it was more of a thing
All right,
than.
I'm sorry. I don't have his pleading yet.
So,
but
Mr. Quintero, if you believe that you missed some parenting time that you're entitled to last weekend, I'm happy to help solve that by giving you makeup parenting time rather than trying to have a contested hearing and litigate and sanction somebody. I don't have the impression that anybody intentionally did something wrong.
well, let me-
Of course she does it. There's never any
And the
intent
order
when the
that
mother
took
does it.
effect on the 24th
Never.
says every other weekend. The
Mhm.
first weekend was that one that he did not get. My client was 15 minutes late, but he got the
20
time.
minutes.
Every other weekend would not be the first weekend, it would be the next weekend. That is this weekend, tomorrow. That's how we read every other weekend. So when I say my client wasn't trying to, that's how I read it. And that's what I told her. If it's every other weekend and it took effect on the 24th, it's not the first weekend, which is last weekend, Judge. It's the one coming up that is tomorrow. That's how I read it. If the court reads differently, then again, the only idiot here is me, and we can talk
Yeah.
about
He is the only idiot there.
makeup time, but I
Mr.
think
Quintero, how can we make this right by you to give you all the parenting time that you were entitled to
Okay.
under the current plan?
So it said that it would start on the 25th of April. So on the 27th and the 28th, I was at the Tucson Police Department waiting, and Luz wasn't there. And so that's what I had
I
filed.
understand that's
Yeah.
your position. My question is, how can we make
Oh,
this right to
okay.
get you all the parenting time that you're entitled to?
Okay, so that would be for this weekend,
So pay
the
attention.
following weekend.
Pay attention.
Okay, how's that sound?
Right? She didn't care that she wronged me. She was just like, oh, okay, let's try and fix it, right? Okay. On a broader scope, like, oh, okay, you were wronged here, let's fix it. But it's never, oh, you were wrong here, let's hold her accountable. Let's sanction her. Let's punish her. No, it's, oh, you were wrong here, let's fix it. They always do that to the mothers. But when it comes to me, no. I get treated very differently. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I know it happens to you guys too. Let's see. I don't know why it's not playing anymore. Let me replay it. Dang it. 40. Okay. Sorry about that. And this is where we were.
Also, the following weekend.
Okay, how's that sound, Mr. Wintry?
And an extra 20 minutes on the upcoming Wednesday. It was actually 19 minutes. She was late and she didn't text me or nothing. So every minute counts if I only get 4 hours with her. So they count. It was 19 minutes on Wednesday. She was late.
okay. So
Damn right, I'm counting minutes.
again, I think there's some confusion about the order on the. Explain this if I'm doing
So, all right, give me the date of the ruling.
I understand it to be on April 27th. Okay.
She's
I'm
asking
sorry.
the order, Terry, that said that we're changing on the 24th.
That was her amended. She amended the.
Yeah, I
order.
amended it twice because I got the date mixed up,
I
and I
think-
apologize for that.
It's not a problem. We're just trying to
If
sort
I
through
may,
it.
and I'm sorry, David had a visit April 20th, so that was the previous weekend. So that's why on the 27th, and what he's claiming, the 27th and 28th would be my weekend. And
So we
then
added
I was
20.
planning to bring Luce again, this weekend to him, to start the Saturday and Sundays from 9 to 5 each.
And I was under the impression that the ruling says starting April 25th, that's when we transition to the other weekend.
What
And
day of the
so,
week is the 25th?
It would have been really good if there was a text or communication to confirm.
I agree, but Ms. Haley doesn't respond to my
Apparently,
text messages.
Well, rather than filing a police report, when you get there and she's not there, maybe you could text her and say, hey, I'm here waiting, are you guys on your way?
I would hope that we could co-parent that way. I'll try that.
Well, you
I'll
could
try
have
that.
done that day.
Ms. Haley doesn't respond to my text messages.
Well, but she would have at least read it and then I'm sure that
She's doing anything and everything to defend her nonsense. This judge may as well be her attorney. She's just defending her nonsense.
would have prompted her to have some type of an answer, even if to say, I don't think your weekend is until next weekend. But
Or face the court's consequences for not having been reasonable. That's absolutely right.
so let me, because nobody has the date of the ruling, I'm just trying to find it.
Let's just, if we could get on track, I think that would be great. So that way we know which weekend we are doing. Because I was under the impression it was last weekend, and she thought that it was this weekend. So let's just get that right. I think that would be great.
So
At this point in time, I'm just like, fuck it. I just want to get out of there.
is Miss Hadley able to agree parenting time this weekend and next weekend?
No, because then I'm missing my weekend. I don't, and
Okay,
I
well,
guess I'm
She's missing a fucking week. She has her all goddamn week. Oh, I'm missing my weekend. She has her all week. It's nonsense. It's freaking nonsense. She's a narcissist.
confused because I had,
what's the date of the ruling where I said where
Is this
phase
it?
3
It
starts?
starts April 25th.
October 25 of 2023?
Wait, I'm getting,
You're not. You raised it. She's
I know. I just,
No, it's a very short.
October 25.
It's hilarious. He says.
I know.
I mean, you saw how that went.
This is Judge Sklar's ruling. No, this is
No,
wrong.
Judge.
For some reason I'm,
No, Judge.
oh, that's a
October
minute
25th.
entry.
Yeah, October
Oh, that's
25th.
the minute entry. All right. No wonder why I thought it was an under.
Yeah, if you look it up in your records, your ruling is October. Yeah, you're right, sir.
It's October 25th.
Yeah,
It's
2023.
your
Yeah.
revising or clarifying Judge
There's other
Sklar's.
amendments. Oh, yeah. Because then you amended
Okay,
it.
This is all
I said
nonsense.
in my amended minute entry on October 26, 2023, beginning January 25, 2024 through April 25, 2024, petitioner shall exercise unsupervised parenting time from 3:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and from 9 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. on alternating Saturdays. Petitioner's first Saturday on this schedule shall be April 27 of 2024. So that was pretty specific.
It's supposed to be amended to say the correct date
And then-
is January 27th, 2024.
What?
Yeah, and then I had to second amend it by
Because that was
saying
for
that the
the,
first Saturday was January 27 of 2024. So,
yeah, but when we
but
switched
that's,
to the,
but that's only the phase from January through April. Then, after April 25, you're reverting back to Judge Green's
yeah, the
original plan.
November 8th,
November
2019.
She's
That's
a
correct.
commissioner. She's not a judge.
Yeah.
No. It's actually, it's still every other weekend.
Right, because Greens was every other week. No, I understand, the
Yeah.
change felt, so that's why
But I'm just,
you had the 20th,
it's always been every
the
other.
24th, then was the trigger
Sorry
date.
about
That's
this,
the
yo.
new date.
Sorry
The
about
order
this.
was beginning on the 24th, it's every other week.
Just being thorough.
So,
This is
Yeah, so it's
everything that happened in the hearing. So,
Saturdays and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
right,
So it didn't become clear on what the first Saturday and Sunday would be.
right.
But So when did he have Saturday parenting time before April 25?
I had her on the 20th. I had Luce on the 20th.
So that would mean if we're alternating weekends, the first weekend would be
This,
Saturday, April 4th, and Sunday, April 5th.
right.
May.
Or I mean,
Yeah.
May.
Maybe.
Sorry. Yeah. So if he had her on the 20th, his alternating Saturday would be May 4th.
Yeah, because I'm not a father. I'm a visitor. I'm a visitor where it's every other weekend. Some fucking bullshit. But, you know, it's job security for these judges to get us back into court later because we're going to fight for equal time, right? We're going to fight for equal time. That's what we're going to do. So
he was not entitled to Saturday, April 27th.
not
As
entitled.
far as what I can infer between my ruling in October of 2023 and reverting you back to Judge Green's
Commissioner Green.
November of
Judge.
2019 ruling after April 25.
All right,
So,
Judge.
Mr. Quintero, if you still want me to have a hearing on that,
No,
I'll hear you out, but that's kind of how I'm piecing that together today.
no, I had only put down 15 minutes for it, and I knew that we could get this figured out because you said we're starting April 25th. So I'm like, all right, the 27th. And that's what I thought. We talked about it here, and you have stated what it is. That's fine. We don't need to come back here again.
All right, good.
I was just
So it was a
following.
misunderstanding, an honest misunderstanding.
Honest, my ass.
No harm, no foul. And so until you get my ruling, which is under advisement, Mr. Quintero is going to have every Wednesday on those hours, plus alternating Saturdays and Sundays, with the first to begin Saturday,
Tomorrow.
May 4, 9 to 5, and Sunday, May 5, 9 to 5.
Okay.
And your it's 3 to 4, not 3:30. I just want to clarify, Wednesdays are 3 to 4 now, not 3:30 to 4:30.
They're 3 to 7.
3 to 7.
3
I'm
to
sorry.
7.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
3 to 7.
3 to 7. Understood.
Thank you.
And I do
Say
think,
3 to 7 every Wednesday.
Yes.
And then alternating Saturdays and Sundays.
and Your Honor, we take the court's admonition that if something slips up, somebody's late, or there's something askew, before we call the police, the parties will try to text, and after having received a text, not on any subject, but on a situation like this, that they will respond.
Can we have a stipulation that the parents will communicate with each other by text message
She's the one that
regarding
doesn't
parenting
co-parent.
time and legal decision making, and any text on that subject will be responded to within 4 hours?
You want to do, well, if it's parenting time, it should definitely,
Stuff that parents do.
I think we can do the exchange. This, I like this. I do. I want us to do this, Kim, please. I think certain things, she might be at work. Yeah.
Okay,
So I
within
think-
1 business day, unless it's an emergency.
Yeah, if it's like a visit happening, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes prior, some situation like that, obviously we can respond because we both know we're supposed to exchange. So we're supposed to be available to each other, when a visit is going to occur. But outside, when a visit is supposed to occur, I think 24 to 48 hours. If it's something 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of time, hey, Luz told me that she wants to take her out of town, so she has to.
A business day is good.
I'm okay with that.
Respond to a non-emergent text message within 1 business day if it concerns parenting time and legal decision making. If it concerns a mistake or running late about parenting time, pickup or drop off, that should be responded to immediately, I would
Yes.
imagine, or immediately upon scene.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
This is
why
so
don't you go
trivial.
ahead and try that to avoid
Like, these kinds of things are so
another
trivial.
misunderstanding.
Step in the right direction. All right, thank you, Ron.
Thanks, everyone's.
This kind of shit is so trivial. But it has to be in front of a judge when you have someone who is incapable of co-parenting, who's incapable of like being mature. So yeah, even like the silliest and the smallest of things like that. And that's what I've been dealing with. And I'm sure a lot of you guys heard your own baby mama and your baby mama's attorney throughout this. The same exact thing. Because they're all the same. So that concludes this series. Let me go ahead and actually put up what the outcome was. Yeah, let's find that. I thought I put it on here. Let me see if I put the order on here. Normally I have this all prepared. So let me see if I have the ruling on here. I don't know if I do. So let me see if I can pause or just send it on here real quick. I should have had this ready when I was doing this, but I could just clarify real quick. So what they wanted was for it to stay the same. I would get my daughter every Wednesday from 4 to 7, every Saturday 9 to 5, every Sunday 9 to 5, or every other Saturday 9 to 5, every other Sunday 9 to 5. That's what it was. That's what it was going to be. So they didn't want any overnights. I challenged legal decision making, and they didn't want me to have any legal decision making. So let's see here. Trying to see if I can find it and send it. So I can find the ruling. But let me just grab it. Maybe this will be a lot easier. Real quick, fellas. Bear with me. Here we go. All right. So this is the ruling here. There's the date. I don't know how well y'all can see that. Right? There's the date. So, and there it is, ruling. So, what I got is, it is further ordered. Petitioner shall continue to have parenting time every Wednesday from 3 to 7, and then starting on June 29th, 2024, for 3 months, I shall have unsupervised overnight parenting time on alternate weekends from Saturday at 9 to Sunday at 5, starting October 4th, and continuing until further order. Petitioner shall have unsupervised overnight parenting time alternate weekends from Friday pickup at school at the end of school day until Sunday at 5. And if school is not in session, Friday parenting time starts at 5. They wanted me to have 0 overnights. And I got it right there. Let me put it right there so you guys can see. I'll give it a second. So y'all can see it there. So, it was a win. It was a win. And then it went into holiday parenting time and so on and so forth. And, text message is a way to exchange information and all that jazz. So, it was a win. I held my own, did my thing. And then subsequently, since that ruling, there was some parts in the ruling that the judge lied about. She stated let's see. Let me find it. Because it was something specific. Because I'll address it in the next video. But there was something in here in which the judge said that the respondent did do the recommendations that were recommended to her. So, which was a false statement because she didn't do them. And in fact, I caught her lying about it. So, which was in this ruling. And so what I did is I filed a motion to alter or amend the judgment. This ruling, I filed a motion to alter or amend the judgment to make her statements from false statements to true statements regarding my daughter's therapy. And what ended up happening is that she said that I took an unreasonable position. But she abused her discretion. And so, peep the next video as to where I go from here. All right? All right, hit me up if you have any questions.